On December 21st, Yuta Iridatsu and his neighbor Lovera Chichibu are both victims of a bus hijacking. Superhero Strange Juice then arrives to save the day. The mastermind is ready to shoot Strange Juice when he knocks Lovera down, but he holds back when he notices a pink G on her neck. When Yuta notices Lovera's panty, he gets strong and throws the mastermind into the water. With Strange Juice by his side, he awakens on the beach. When he notices her panty, he loses consciousness once more and loses power. At that moment, something drops from the sky and rips his soul from his body. 2 days later, he awakens in his flat in Korai House, where a spirit cat named Chiranosuke informs him that another spirit has taken over his body and that he needs to locate the Nandala Gandala book to reclaim it. Yuta discovers that when he sees females' underwear twice in a row, he loses consciousness and a meteor destroys Earth while looking for the book in his apartment building. Fortunately, he also discovers that he can use his spirit form to partially manipulate objects and go back in time to change the course of events. Later, Yuta finds out that Mikatan Narugino, his neighbor, is Strange Juice. Meika Daihatsu, the apartment's landlady, studies Chiranosuke to cheer her up as Lovera laments the fact that she will never possess true spirit powers like her parents. Lovera hears Chiranosuke as necromancy. In the meantime, Yuta discovers that the presence of cinnamon dust in the air enhances his spirit abilities. He takes advantage of this knowledge to break a bottle in front of Lovera, but he is unable to do so again without the cinnamon boost. Ito Hikiotani later tries and fails to conceal a bear cub she finds abandoned, named Muhi, in a box. In response to the Khmer group asking the government to explain an impending asteroid that will hit on New Year's Eve, Yuta begins to believe that the group's recently deceased leader, Khmer Tsubuchi, is actually the spirit that is residing in his body. Later, while organizing a Christmas party in Ito's chamber, Mikatan conceals her identity as Strange Juice from Ito by using Meika's camouflage technology. Later that evening, Turtle Man, an invader from the Khmer group, makes an attempt to abduct Muhi. During the struggle, Muhi sustains a cut, however, he is saved by a superhero in a suit going by the name of Kenji Miyazawa, who reveals that he has regenerative healing in addition to what seem to be Yuta's skills. After that, Meika is shown to be a robot and Ito and Lovera find out that Mikatan is Strange Juice. In a flashback, while another girl, Chiyoko, performs a song, a boy named Pine invites a girl named Yuriko to flee from a laboratory with him. Yuta learns that Ito's name was also on a list of names released by Kume that contained the name of a female who had been found dead as Lovera got ready for a date with a man named Glees. Yuta uses the cinnamon power to take over Lovera's body, but she is unable to alert the others to Ito's predicament before the power's effects wear off. Glees confesses to Lovera that he is with the NSA and is attempting to get Meika so she can hack the Khmer group's virus before it can interfere with a satellite intended to intercept the meteor. Kenji interrupts them, but Lovera stops him, and the females all end up fighting as a result. Later, Yuta realizes that a song Mikatan is singing is the same song Chiyoko sang. When Yuta discovers Ito dead at the shrine on December 29th, he uses his ability to travel back in time to earlier that day. When Lovera is taken over by Yuta and told of Ito's imminent demise, Mikatan is able to prevent her from traveling to the temple. Ito tells Mikatan that the names of the other girls in the video were those of the bullies who tormented her in school. She also says that although she released the video herself as a joke, someone else modified it to include her name and sent her threatening emails. When Mikatan claims that she was nurtured in Uber Labs with 2 other children, Yuta remembers Pine using the Uber FY power to save Chiyoko. The Turtle Man imprisons Muhi the following day as retribution for failing to appear at the shrine. Yuta lures the intruder to the rooftop using his abilities to influence Ito's phone, then has Meika and Lovera set up a trap for him. However, the intruder sees through their plan and shoots Meika. The Turtle Man reveals he has the same Uber FY abilities as Kenji and Mikatan and fights back when they arrive. Kenji, who has the ability to perceive Yuta, provides an opportunity for him to inhabit Rabura and vanquish the intrusive being while also saving Meika. The girls later learn that the invader was Chihaya Tomoda, Ito's homeroom teacher, who, out of a twisted love for Ito, allowed himself to be taken over by Kmei Tsubuchi's soul in order to exact revenge on the pupils who had mistreated Ito. The girls host a New Year's party the following day, during which Meika confesses that Yuta is biologically female and subsequently tells Ito how she met Mikatan. The meteorite in orbit unexpectedly begins rushing towards Earth after Kenji assists Mikatan, who must take medicine to combat the adverse effects of her talents. Kenji, who reveals himself to be Yuta's future self, gives Yuta the Nandala Gandala, which is blank other than the word U-turn, and instructs him to travel back in time to the beginning in order to reclaim control of his body and stop Earth's annihilation. On December 21st, just after the busjacking event, Yuta returns to his own body. After going over the upcoming significant dates, Chiranosuke tells Yuta that he must alter the future, something his previous selves failed to do, without disclosing the truth to anyone or altering it without his consent, further explaining how his nosebleeds cause the extinction of mankind. Yuta avoids putting U-turn into the Nandala Gandala after placing talismans to prevent his spirit double from accessing his body since he feels it would be admitting defeat. He also succeeds in keeping his spirit double from seeing the girl's underwear. The following day, as Yuta tries to approach Rabura to inquire about Glees, he spots Tomoda and chases after him but is stopped by Chiranosuke, who warns him not to reverse the circumstances that allowed the locals to develop strong relationships with one another. Chiranosuke continues by saying that a circumstance from 9 years ago is the cause of Yuta's soul's ease in detaching from his body. Yuta was created as a result of Pine's soul ending up in Chiyoko's body during this incident, which had Yuriko, Chiyoko, and Pine all trying to escape as their uberfied states were struck by lightning. Back in the present, Yuta gets the Kenji Miyazawa costume in a package from his foster sister, Akina Iridatsu. On December 24th, the day Tomoda made his initial attempt to abduct Mohi, Yuta disguises himself as Kenji and pursues him. Upon probing the Tsubuchi spirit inside Tomoda, Yuta discovers that the Kmei organization was in charge of developing the Uber and Mohi powers. After Kmei departs and Tomoda is admitted to the hospital, Yuta has a conversation with Meika. Meika seems to be aware of Kenji because of the advice given to her by her late grandfather, who instructed her to create the superhero group Justice Punch after receiving a fax from the future. The following day, Yuta meets with Rando, the cousin of Rabura who betrayed the Kmei group by giving Mohi to Ito in order to halt their W project and was the one who provided Mohi to Ito. Later, on December 26, Mikatan falls to the ground in front of Yuta as she thanks him for his assistance during the busjacking. After giving Yuriko her prescription, Yuta introduces himself as Pine to Mikatan, who is later revealed to be Chiyoko's spirit living in Yuriko. Mikatan describes how Ishigata, who assisted everyone in escaping from Uber Labs and was subsequently slain by lab personnel looking for her, took care of her after she ended up switching bodies. The following day, Yuta speaks with several scientists who refute Glees' assertions that nuclear weapons can destroy the asteroid, leading him to believe Glees is lying about his identity. Then, Yuta asks Meika to perform a physical examination on Mikatan in light of her deteriorating health. The group would fight and then make up the next day, December 27th, if Yuta changed the course of events. Yuta rejects this advice and approaches Chiranosuke. Glees exposes himself to be one of the Kmei group's leaders who came up with a plan to dupe Meika into hacking into a satellite in order to alter the meteor's course toward Earth. Glees uses Uber FY abilities to attack Yuta while hitting him with an anesthetic, revealing himself to be Yuriko, the person now living in Pine's body. On December 28, Yuta discovers that it is too late to prevent Meika from hacking into the satellite as Yuriko had intended, enabling Kmei to shoot missiles at the meteor to direct it toward Earth. Chiranosuke asks Yuta to start making plans for his future self because he believes the effort to save humanity has failed. Ito was initially supposed to die on December 29th, but the day before, Yuta and Mikatan get a text inviting them to the shrine, where they run into Yuriko, who had kidnapped Ito to tempt them out. Before departing, Yuriko tells Yuta and Mikatan that the only way they can survive the meteor crash is if they convert into WS by utilizing Mohi's regenerative power. As Yuta is about to give up completely, he considers his friends and becomes resolved to protect them. He then asks Meika for her assistance in rescuing humanity just as he is about to give up completely. Meika devises a plan to unleash all of the world's ballistic missiles at the meteor as it gets within range after learning about the change in the meteor's trajectory and everything Yuta has gone through. She assigns Yuta the responsibility of defending Korai House against anyone attempting to prevent her from doing so. The day before New Year's Eve, Meika is hesitant to allow the others, who had overheard her, to assist with the procedure since she believes Mikatan will perish if she uberfees one more time. The other people, who together make up the Justice Punch team, are nonetheless adamant about helping. The operation starts on New Year's Eve with Yuta and Mikatan guarding the Korai House against armed troops under the control of the Kmei organization. Yuriko shows up with a team of WS and the U.S. Army, whose commander is controlled by Tsubuchi. Ito grabs a mech to fight off the army, and the spirit Yuta takes control of Robura to help Yuta and Mikatan. The hacking of Meika is stopped when Yuriko infiltrates the Korai House with 30 minutes left on the clock and severely harms her. Robura is able to stop Tsubuchi and exorcise him as Yuta and Yuriko engage in combat, allowing Ito and Meika to complete the hacking, launch the missiles, and destroy the meteor. In the meantime, Mikatan decides to use her magic to break up the conflict between Yuriko and Yuta. Yuta switches bodies with her, sending Mikatan back to Chiyoko's body just before he succumbs to the negative effects in her body. 49 days later, the spirit Yuta bids the others farewell before departing to go back in time and complete the tasks necessary for a successful future.